What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Guys of Texas preview for the last home game of the regular season. Possible home game coming up in the playoffs, maybe. We are playing Kentucky at 2:30. This is the second time that Texas will ever play Kentucky. Do you guys know the year? It's time to play that year. So when was the first time and only time Texas have ever played Kentucky?
I did not see that stat pop up anywhere this week, so I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say 72.
1972. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go 65.
1951. Texas
Yeah,
defeated Kentucky 7-6.
Wow. Exciting game there.
Yeah. It's all these teams we've played, except for like Arkansas, like some of the teams we've played before, but most of these SEC teams that we've come across now we haven't played them in many years. So they're looking to get revenge from, what is that, 73 years ago? Yikes.
Another random fact involving Kentucky: playing at DKR is the furthest west they've ever played.
I saw that stat too, and I couldn't even believe it.
Right? It's wild.
People are like, "Oh, well, 80% of the population is east of Austin." It's like, what? I mean, there's still teams west of Austin, Texas.
Yeah, how do you not have a non-conference game?
Yeah,
you know, in Colorado
can't afford it. I mean, to be fair, I don't remember Kentucky really being until it was the last few years. I mean, they've never been known as a football school, but
traveling team.
Yeah, traveling. Yeah, they have played. This will be I believe it's their fourth top 10 matchup. They played number 1 Georgia. They played Ole Miss when they were number 6. They played Tennessee when they were number 7, and now it'll be Texas at number 3. They are a scrappy team when they play top 10 opponents. They've played them very close. They lost to Georgia by 1 point, 13-12, which is crazy to me. The Ole Miss game was 20-17. They won against Ole Miss. I remember now distinctly. They just flashed back to right before we were going into the stadium. Yeah. Seth getting demolished on his parlay because Ole Miss decided like it was done before we even walked in the stadium. Oh, and then Tennessee, they lost 28-18. So they do play. They've got a great defense. But what do you guys think of the matchup coming up?
They seem really similar to Mississippi State in their style of play. They seem scrappy, love to control the ball, and just run the clock. I mean, obviously, I think they're executing a little bit better than Mississippi State, but similar game plan, I think, will be a similar outcome also. I feel like Sark will have it schemed up pretty well to limit their ability to control the clock the entire time. And if we can stop the run, I think this should be a really easy matchup for us. Mm-hmm. It's all about stopping the run.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, quarterback there that's been extremely hot and cold on the season. If you look at his stats, just really inconsistent all year. And then they really only have one wide receiver that's been their main guy all year. So interesting
key receiver, sure. If you will, Dane
Key receiver. But yeah, 2 running backs from them that get plenty of looks. So we're going to be seeing both of them a lot this weekend. So it's an interesting matchup for sure. Just for the fact that Kentucky's, like you said, played up to the challenge against these top-ranked teams. So not super scared of their offense by any means, but their defense definitely looks like they have pieces to give us troubles.
Yeah, bonus points if you can actually pronounce the leading rusher for Kentucky's last name. I'm going to try it. Demi Sumo Yep, not doing it. Yep, yeah, no, that is
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's Karngbe. Is Karn? Yeah,
Karngbe.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. Good luck with that.
From New Jersey.
I mean, what's crazy is, I mean, they've gotten blown out by Florida, 48-20. Yeah. But that's 4 48 was the most points they gave up, and then 31 they gave up to South Carolina early in the season, 31-6. Other than that, they've really held teams to a low-scoring affair. I mean, 28 for Tennessee. I think this is going to be one of those, as you said, like you control them. I think we scored 24 points, and that'll be a win. I think CJ Vogel put that out there also. I mean, I think 3 touchdowns will actually do it. But they're a scrappy team. You know, it will be a senior day on the field, so it will be a little bit different. There are now questions being arose if Quinn is coming back or not, and he refuses to answer the question, which I get. I don't really want to talk about that, but I mean, and I think it was Golden did the same thing. He's like, I don't know if I'm coming back or not. Injury report wise that we have right now, we do know that Mo Blackwell is possible to come back this week. And then DeAndre Moore is questionable as well. He got injured last week, but they're saying he is probably going to be available, but we will see on that. What as far as the Texas side of the football, what key players are you looking for this game to really step up? Besides the obvious Quinn, you can't use that one.
Key players to step up. I mean, obviously, we're all wanting to see the passing game. So seeing Bond, I mean, Bond had such clout coming in after what he did at Alabama last year, and like, yeah, he's been a great receiver for us, but we haven't seen like that Bond that was hyped up last year. So I'm still always hoping for him to just put up a performance that's highlight worthy. Outside of that is, I mean, I guess it's not player, but just playing clean football. I feel like turnovers in this game end up biting a lot harder than usual because of their slow pace of just controlling the ball and letting the clock run. So any mess ups on controlling the ball are just going to hurt a lot more in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, ball control is going to be key again against a team. This is a scrappy team, just like we saw in Arkansas. So not turning the ball over is going to be huge. But I want to see more out of this running back room, man. I feel like we haven't consistently been able to get a run game going for a couple weeks now. Really struggling to run between the tackles. I feel like when we get outside around the corners, we're to the edges, we're getting some yardage from Blue and Wisner, but up in between the tackles, we're really just not getting a great push with our running backs, especially this last week. So just looking to see if the running back room will step up a little bit in this game, and because this is one of those games where you want to control both sides of the line of scrimmage throughout with a scrappy team like this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so I was actually they asked Quinn about his oblique, and he admitted, yeah, I still feel it. He said it doesn't affect him, but he said, yeah, I still feel it. And hearing that really makes you go back and wonder, like, okay, is this the reason why Quinn has been so weird lately? Because the deep ball is just non-existent.
Yeah,
it's just not close, and you wonder if this is actually like that's the reason why they've done so many short passes and rarely call the deep ball, which is why you don't see the flashes of Bond and Golden. You see it every so often, but the ones that you do see that actually break out, they're so far wide open that he's just got to throw the ball in the air for them to get underneath it. So, I mean, at this point in the game, you got to kind of wonder, is this really what's going on? Is that oblique really still affecting him mentally, and he doesn't want to strain that to a point to where he's out for the rest of the season. So we'll see. It's getting us by so far. I saw Mike. I don't know if I'll talk about this real quick. You see Elko's interview?
Yeah. It's been going viral everywhere.
Yeah, we're solely focused on Texas. I mean Auburn, and that. I mean the Auburn game. I mean, quite honestly, I don't know if that Auburn game. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
No, for sure not.
That's going to be interesting. But yeah, that popped up in my head. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
I mean, I feel like for both of us, it's the ultimate trap game right before reuniting. Not that Auburn's been very good at all, but I mean, it lays perfect. They're going to Auburn. It's a dangerous game. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited about, even though it's not a night game, we will probably get by the time we get to the fourth quarter, it'll probably be dark enough, so we'll still be able to get our last little show and show little brother what it actually looks like before they actually do it. Which I bet is A&M at home this week?
No, they're at Auburn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. They did their little senior night against nobody last week because they didn't want to do it against the Texas game.
I was wondering about that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that too. By the way, at work, I am just swarmed with A&M fans, and it has ramped up very quickly. Like I am starting to amp. Like we do a 3-week schedule at work, and he was mad because the superintendent had put orange for Thanksgiving blocked out on the 3-week schedule and thought that he was taking a stab at, it was like, oh, you're putting Texas Longhorns. I was like, dude, it's Thanksgiving. It's orange. So he had changed it to Gig 'em. So we had our owner architect meeting today. And so I just watermarked the Longhorn logo all over that thing. So when he opened it up, he was not happy today. So it is fully ramped up. I'm getting more and more excited. Apparently they are doing a bonfire. It's a off-campus type bonfire, but they still do that apparently. So probably try and slide into that somewhere. Just get some, interviews going. I won't be wearing Texas gear for that, but
I mean, you're used to that in College Station, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know what you're saying. We can slide right past that.
One last job.
That's right. Anything else for this game? It's one of those like I've looked so forward to the A&M game now that I'm looking ahead, but I'm not playing, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But
get your head in the game.
I don't think this is going to be much of a game. I think we'll control the ball like we have, especially at home. At home, we've played besides Georgia, we played lights out at home, so that's going to be key for us. You guys have anything else on this game?
I mean, not a lot, but I'm just the high that we're rolling on right now defensively. I'm really excited to just watch them. I mean, any game that we'd have right now, I'm just be really excited to watch them execute because they're just playing so well. Watching Jade, see if we can get another turnover and just keep adding to the hype of the Thorpe. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's crazy. Like, we think about years past, like we never talked about defensive players like we've talked about this year. Like, and the multitude of players that we talk about is crazy. I think Collins was Cody lineman this week. Jade was a defensive. I think it was defensive player of the week.
Yeah,
if not and there was somebody else that was in there too. So defensively, it's crazy how much we talk about players, specifically players on the defensive side of the ball. Like, their names now. Like, that's not for the casual fan. It's not really normal, but now like it's really coming to fruition of what Sark has built on the back end. And I'm super excited to see what we have for the rest of the year.
This is off topic and random, but have y'all seen Jonte Cook going completely AD on social medias?
No, I haven't seen anything.
AB.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't. What's going on?
I mean, he's just been like shooting off like the wildest tweets and everything. And then after the game last week, there was some highlight thing on oh man, I'm gonna draw a blank. Anthony Hill, and Cook chimed in right away and was something about him leaving and not being here next year or something like that, and just like stirring the pot.
Yeah.
And I just keep seeing him. He's just going off the deep end with things, and that was the one that caught my eye. Like, all right, you're crazy. I can't take this seriously, but
it's kind of making more. Yeah, it's kind of making more and more sense now with stuff with him. It just felt like he was possibly a locker room cancer with some of this. It seems like he was instigating stuff, and we were questioning why he wasn't getting playing time because he has so much talent, but there may have been a lot in practice and off the field that he was stirring the pot that was pissing Sark off. So,
I know, like, I followed his recruiting quite a bit, and I knew in high school, like, he was always yapping on social media and everything. He was really loud and just would say whatever he wanted to. And as soon as he got to campus, like, that just like locked down. I was like kind of surprised, like, all right, I guess he matured and kind of he's like taking this really serious. And the second he's off the team again, he's just going crazy. So,
well, I feel like I saw something else associated with that. Is someone's got a burner account and it's commenting from a burner account is what I've seen. I'll try and look and see if I can find that. But yeah, there were definitely comments directed back at him, and everyone thinks it was Golden shooting back at him. So I will search for that, and I think I reposted it. But
That's
it's yeah, there's a wild scenario going on. And now that I saw that, now I've got to go find every Longhorns burner account out there. So, we'll get to the predictions a little bit later. Playoff update. So Texas comes in at number 3 in the playoff rankings. Oregon, Ohio State 1 and 2. Penn State number 4. The Big Ten is in the top 3. I mean, I get why, but I don't. Like those teams, like Penn State, the way we've seen them, aren't close to what Alabama's playing right now.
Are you looking at the projected bracket breakdown right now?
I'm not looking at the bracket. It's their rankings. So basically, they take that same thing and do the rankings. So I think on the bracket, we're number 2 because we would be the 2 seed. But as far as rankings go, of the way everything is actually ranked on here, they have Texas at 3, Notre Dame at 6, Indiana at 5, Alabama 7. They do have Ole Miss over Georgia here, but in the AP poll, they have Alabama at 7, Georgia 8, and Ole Miss 9. So the AP poll is putting Georgia over Ole Miss. I know there are people on Twitter saying, well, wait a minute, then why is Texas over Georgia? Well, because you got 2 losses. So that's one thing. Just because you beat Texas, it's our only loss. So 2 losses does not equal jumping Texas right now. But go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I didn't realize with the playoff system, I thought it was like the Power 4 auto bid, like conference champions auto bid. And it's not Power 4. It's the highest rated conference champion. Right. So like they were talking about scenarios like the Big 12 could get completely left out, and I had never even like comprehended that those top 4 seeds weren't 4 Power 4 champions. I thought that was pretty interesting. I hadn't heard anybody else talk about it before.
Well, it's also I've seen predictions out there of people putting them out there where there's not an SEC in the top 4. It's like, that makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world would you ever not put an SEC team in that top 4, whoever wins the SEC championship? But that does bring a question in. I'm not so sure whoever makes the SEC, like Ole Miss, or I guess Kiffin was talking about this too. He said he didn't want to make the SEC championship at this point. He said it's going to hurt him because then you have 3 losses and he could miss the playoffs because of that versus sitting at home. So we're about to come up with very weird scenarios. So say Texas wins out. I haven't looked at the actual scenarios of what this would be, but Texas wins out. I don't know who that puts. I think it's Alabama.
Us against Alabama? I think that is the most.
I think that's right.
That would be wow. If we lose right now, though, I think we're bottom of the barrel. Like I think we lose, we're out of the SEC championship completely, correct. And I think we're 8th.
With the way that the committee drops teams recently, they're pretty much most of the top teams that have lost recently. They drop at least 8 spots. Yeah. So
I'm not talking about rankings. I'm talking about within the division, within the conference of SEC. The conference, we would be 8th in the conference of the SEC.
Right, we wouldn't even have a shot at with any loss from here on out. Right. We don't have any shot.
Yeah.
But playoff wise, I feel like we're still we lose A&M. I feel like we still get in. It'd be very close, but I don't know. It's one of those. The other thing that bothers me is all this whole like, oh, Texas hasn't played anybody. They don't have a ranked win. Well, just FYI, if you beat a ranked team, they're going to drop in rankings. Yes, I get that there were some teams that clearly shouldn't have been in there, like Michigan. But at the time, they were definitely a top 25 team of what everyone thought. And so you start beating all these teams. It's not our fault that we tried to schedule a top matchup with Michigan. We had the same thing. We do for sure have it with Ohio State next year. But this whole nonsense of, Texas doesn't have a ranked win. It's like, bro, like none of that makes sense because the SEC in and of itself, yes, we haven't played anybody except for Georgia, correct. But Kentucky has had a good win against Ole Miss. They were 1 point away from Georgia. Florida has knocked somebody off. Like Vanderbilt has knocked Alabama off. So I just don't get the whole ranked thing. Like, and that's what everyone's going bonkers over.
Dude, that ESPN panel on Tuesday night was just going after Texas, talking about how mediocre they are.
Booger's an idiot.
And then I'm like, you're sitting there saying that, but then you're giving Indiana praise that has one of the worst strength of schedules. You're giving these other schools in the Big Ten praise that have no strength of schedule. And it's like we're getting punished for beating Arkansas and Vanderbilt when you're giving these other schools a pass, for losing to these. Bama losing to, Vanderbilt and stuff like that. So I just don't get why everybody sets down on Texas we're playing the schedule that's in front of us. Like,
did you see who they put as their best? Indiana's one of the top 2 wins is Michigan. But wait a minute, hold on there. We dominated that game against them.
Yeah.
Like, so let's find the fine balance there. I don't know. It's going to be chaos because I'm looking at the 12, 13, 14 right now, and I see Boise State, SMU, and BYU right there. That's going to be wild. Now, I don't see how Boise State gets any. They could get in as the 4 seed, possibly.
Right.
But I don't see how they move up anywhere higher than now. ACC, they could beat the ACC champion, especially because right now they have SMU. But no, because if SMU goes, they beat Clemson or Miami, they're going to jump Boise State because who's Boise State going to play in their championship? Like nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, UNLV is their closest matchup that is ranked. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting because now you got Army Tulane picking up there too. And if Army beats Notre Dame and handily, that thing's going to shoot through the roof too. We got chaos coming up and we got 2 weeks left.
Dude, how in the world are we already about to be done with the season?
I know.
It's crazy.
It's especially with 2 bye weeks. Like I felt like it was going to be longer with 2 bye weeks. Nope. We're right here. And
winter's coming.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Oregon's played 11 games. Oregon has played 1 more game than everybody else. So Oregon just have a bye week with the next. They only have Oregon.
They're on bye this week.
Oh yeah, they're on bye this week. Yeah, so they have Washington next. Like, what a weird time. I guess we used to do that with A&M back in the day. We used to have the bye week, but we only had 1 bye week.
Yeah, it was only 1.
But this will be interesting. Like every time we look up these rankings, like something's changing, and I'm wondering how long they're going to keep Ole Miss and Georgia, especially in the AP. But and people were like, "Oh, well, the AP, but it doesn't matter." Well, I think it does. I feel like that influences the board a little bit. Like they take a little bit of grain of salt. So,
sure.
They've got Florida. Ole Miss has Florida, Mississippi State left, and as we talked about, Georgia doesn't have anybody left to play in the SEC. So
yeah, freaking Massachusetts.
Yeah, dude. And then Georgia Tech for the Peach, the Battle of the Peach. I don't know what they call it, but I'm assuming.
Can't talk crap. They've had a monster of a schedule this year. So.
Oh yeah. They've had a monstrous schedule, but this is the first time in a long time they've had a monstrous schedule too.
Yeah. That is something that's really annoyed me with everybody talking about it because they're just hyping up how tough their schedule is. And like, they was the complete inverse last year. They had the weakest schedule possible, and they still didn't make it to the playoffs. So, like, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, and that's what they're bringing up is like Georgia, their only loss was in the SEC championship, and they didn't make it to the playoffs. Now, we've expanded playoffs, but where we're at right now, it's not like we have an undefeated team in the SEC. So it's going to be very interesting, especially if Indiana pulls what they're trying to pull off this weekend. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's move on to games this week. What do you guys got? Is there anything? Let's see. Oh, Georgia Tech, NC State. Boring. That's tomorrow night. Tonight is Buffalo, Eastern Michigan. Oh, by the way, Harding starting their back-to-back title this weekend. They are taking on, who are they playing? Pitt State, the Gorillas. So you can watch it on ESPN Plus. I will be doing that. Actually, I think it's 11 o'clock game. Maybe we maybe watch it at the tailgate. I don't know. I may put it on. But
did y'all see Herman got let go?
Yes, hate to see it. Hate to see it.
Fall from grace.
Yeah, no joke, man.
That's crazy, man. I was a fan of Herman back when we hired him. Like seeing what he had done at Houston, I was pretty excited about it, and like his ties to Texas. But man, just watching that story arc and just keeps going downhill and downhill.
Talk about a one-hit one. Well, and I mean, there was a guy that was a nutritionist for Texas during his time, and he said it was just the most ridiculous thing. Like they were practicing at night. They weren't practicing in the mornings. Like he said, the schedules were awful. The players didn't care about. They just ate whatever they wanted. He had the pee chart, which was weird. Like all this different stuff. He was a different animal. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah.
He definitely, like, you step back and look, you're like, what were we excited about there?
Right.
Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid for sure.
Talk about a one-hit wonder, dude. Like, he was smoking at Houston and then just came over and he did okay, but
I mean, yeah, it was between us and LSU to rip him out of Houston. Everybody thought he was just like the next best thing.
Now, to be fair with Sark came out at the exact perfect time with that switching to the SEC. Like that made a huge deal. We always talked about that before we even came to the SEC. Like that's going to be a big, big thing for us. So, yeah, I'm. That's best wishes to him. Best wishes. Let's see. Friday night, Temple, UTSA, Purdue, Michigan State, UNLV, San Jose State. Everyone was talking about how San Jose State was, well, of course, they did come up with, they were a 3-touchdown lead against Boise State and then gave it away.
I cannot ever remember for the life of me the difference between San Jose State and San Diego State whenever I'm looking through all of these. Like, one's doing well, one's not doing well.
Yeah.
I have no idea which one it is.
San Jose State is doing well this year. San Diego State is the Aztecs. I know that. Kirby Puckett used to coach there, or not Kirby, not Kirby Puckett. Yikes, Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn used to be the baseball coach over there. I know that because my mom is from San Diego, so I used to keep up with all that stuff. Saturday morning. Big game, obviously, is going to be Indiana, Ohio State. I am super interested in this game. I really want to see what Indiana has. Like, if they come out smacking, this could be very, very good to watch.
When's the last time you've seen a top 5 matchup be a 13.5-point spread?
Yeah, I know.
Just absolutely no love.
Dude.
No love for Indiana.
Ohio State hasn't played anything before or anything after 11 a.m. game. I feel like all season.
Yeah, that's crazy. Freaking every home game, I think they said, was an 11 a.m. game for them this year.
Yeah. That's nuts. That sucks. When we go, are we there next year? Or are we here next year? I think we're here.
For which game?
Ohio State.
I think we're home first.
I think we're home because that's why we decided to go to Georgia, and then we'll go to the Shoe next year or 2 years from now. That's the plan.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I got to go to the Shoe. That'd be fun. So yeah, I really want to see Indiana do really well against them. Ole Miss, Florida in the swamp.
I'm disappointed that, I guess we're going to be out at the tailgate on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to, watching Florida, Ole Miss, and Ohio State, Indiana, both those happening while we're out there. That's disappointing. We're going to miss some of that.
Well, we could.
We're still going to have a good time, but they have one TV on way over in the corner.
We could put it on. Yeah, they got the TV in the corner. We could put it up on the computer too. We could figure something out where we could just go to a bar for a little bit and watch a game, and then go. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll discuss after. We'll come up with a game plan. Ole Miss, Florida. This should be interesting. The way Florida played last week, they look good again. So it's going to be quite interesting. They smoked LSU. Was it LSU, right? That's who they played last week. Everything blurs together at this point, man.
It was fun to see Billy Napier look a little cocky on the sideline after the game.
Yeah.
Down all season long.
Exactly. Been in a full-blown inferno hot seat. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, we're bringing you back. Like, all right, let's ride. Yes, Ole Miss, Florida. SMU plays Virginia. That is SMU's 9.5 favorites in Virginia. Illinois, Rutgers. That's pretty much. Georgia plays Massachusetts. Tennessee plays UTEP. Okay. They couldn't play the real University of Texas, but they'll play the University of Texas El Paso. Cool.
That Arizona State BYU game is big. Just implications in the Big 12 there. That should be a pretty tight game. It's going to be, I think that's in Arizona.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a line on the Charleston Southern Florida State game. And I don't know if they just think Florida State's going to win that football game or if they have no idea how to actually handicap that line. I'm taking Charleston Southern, whatever it is. That would just be perfect.
They both only have one win on the season.
Yeah,
and then insane.
And then the weekend of ours, I wonder what time they're going to set that game at next weekend. It'll be Florida State. And Florida's going to look to just absolutely demolish them. Oh, I can't wait. We got some good football coming up. Let's see. Moving on.
You didn't talk about the 6:30 primetime ABC game.
We're moving on to we're moving on to 2:30.
2:30.
We're doing the 2:30 games right now.
Yeah, I'm still.
We were just in morning there. You just slow down there.
There's so many 2:30 games.
Yeah.
We're going to miss all of them.
That's right. Yep, we will. BYU, Arizona State. That's when you were talking about Colorado, Kansas. I think Kansas has an opportunity. I think Kansas has an opportunity there. That line has moved up a half a point to Colorado already. Michigan, Northwestern. I don't know if Northwestern played decent last week. I don't know if Michigan can beat them at this point. It is in Michigan, but you've got Wisconsin and Nebraska, the disappointments for the Big Ten, who they had high hopes for, at least Nebraska. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. That's going to be a weird game too. Oklahoma State has not looked very good. Texas Tech has shown flashes and then shown the wrong flashes the whole time. So that'll be interesting. What else?
It's crazy how many of these schools are playing such low-level teams this week.
Yes,
especially the SEC.
The SEC, though, from what I remember, that's like that. Like, they normally schedule like kick games at the end for whatever reason. So, I don't know. You've got there was one more I saw. Oh, yeah, the Mizzou, Mississippi State.
Yeah, that game looks like it could be fun.
Yeah, that one will be interesting. Maybe Mississippi State comes out with a win.
In Starkville. I mean, that'd be their first.
Tickets are $4. $4 tickets for that football game. $4.
Man, could you imagine?
All right, big one. I'll let you take it, Jono, since you big primetime game. I don't know which one you're talking about. I think you're being facetious.
Yeah, a little bit with the Alabama Crimson Tide going to Norman, Oklahoma. I don't know. That's an ABC game, dude.
That's an ABC game. It's absurd. Like, what are we doing here? I never been a Bama fan, but just steamroll them, boys. Put them in their misery. Nail the coffin down. Who does Oklahoma finish with? LSU. Yikes!
Couldn't miss a bowl.
Couldn't happen to better people. Couldn't have happened. That'd be great.
Even as bad as LSU started to look, that still could be a beatdown.
Yeah.
Did you see Oklahoma's 5-star offensive lineman commit is going to be at DKR on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael Fasusi.
Yeah, that should be interesting to see.
I think he's taking a visit to Texas and to A&M.
Yeah, he's going to A&M too.
Venables was making some comments that if you're going to other campuses, you're not committed. All right, sounds like the writing's on the wall already.
Yep.
Yeah, how to lose a recruit 101.
Yeah, cool. Well, bye. The big game that I want to watch would be Army Notre Dame. Let's see what Army's got. It'll be in the Bronx. It'll be at Yankee Stadium. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Come on, Army. You gotta root for this is for America now. If you're dude, that's gonna send everything into a tailspin if that happens. Boise State's playing Wyoming, Boarfest.
Vandy at LSU looks like it could be fun too.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be a fan of Pavia in that game. I can't stand LSU. Like, they're just annoying. Like, they don't really bother me. They're just annoying. Like, they just puff their chest a little too much.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Texas A&M Auburn. That's A&M's favored by 2.5 in that game. And then Auburn hopefully is not looking ahead to their game against Alabama after that. But
where do you read your games from?
ESPN.
I'm always trying to understand what order you're finding.
Oh,
going on the app, and I'm like, it's never the same.
Yeah, I'm on the desktop. If you go to ESPN schedule, it literally lists every single game in time slot. So yeah, then you got, let's see, and then I do jump around too, so that doesn't help either. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is a bore fest. So
I mean, that was a lot of good games.
The night will be. I mean, you're pretty much going to be watching the A&M Auburn game, the Notre Dame Army game. That's pretty much the only two games you're going to be watching there. But yeah, the afternoon and the morning slates are really, really good. We talked about the Aggies having 5 night games in a row.
We did.
Dang, that's crazy.
I think they'll have 7 on the season.
That's wild.
And they played 5 night games in a row. I think because they play night game for Auburn, they play night game for us. So they'll have 5 straight night games that they played. LSU,
South Carolina.
Yep. Every one of them. What's so special about them? I thought there was. Let's just chill on that little Texas bias now, huh? Okay.
Dude, I know most people aren't going to agree with me, but I don't mind. I like a morning game. I love like waking up and just like having some breakfast and like settling into the couch for a game. Obviously, I want my big games to be a night game, but I like some morning games.
I like morning games, but the hype games, like like this game, I'm not disappointed that the Kentucky game's not a night game. But yeah, that A&M game, that needs to happen because Friday night, I'm going to need some recovery time from Northgate. We've already planned Pop Stroke Friday evening, and then there's concert. Shane Smith and the Saints are playing. Randy Rogers, Pat Green.
What's Pop Stroke?
It's Tiger Woods. It's Tiger Woods' little.
They have one down there.
It's the gay bar down in A&M. Pop Stroke. Yeah. Yeah, they do. No, like even Aggies were like, wait, what? So yeah, we're going down there. Going to go meet up with some buddies. Do some Pop Stroke and then go to Northgate. So recovery, rinse and repeat on Saturday. So
why would they put one in College Station?
I don't know. What else is there to do in College Station?
Yeah,
really? So. I mean, so let's see what else we have. We've talked about that. Talked about Quinn possibly coming back. It's so weird. Like why? And also, why are we asking the question? Like, who cares at this point? Like, so let's stop asking the question.
There was one other thing that I'd written down as a key to the game that I forgot to say earlier. I heard a stat earlier that Kentucky has had 17 fumbles on the season, and they've recovered 13 of their own fumbles. I thought that was really interesting, and it's like the luckiest stat you could ask for to be recovering 13 of your 17 fumbles, which I think our defense is good enough to not allow that to happen.
So
I think it could be a big key to the game if they're that fumble happy that we could get to it first.
Well, Arkansas was they're 23 and for 9, like they've lost 9 fumbles out of 23.
Yeah,
like that's 14 right there that they've gotten back. So, that's control the football, boys, and that's why we won the Arkansas games. We did not turn the ball over. That was a big key, and that's going to be the same key here. Obviously, that's like the cliche, but we keep fumbling the football, Blue. So we gotta hit that. And I'm wondering how Blue is going to be, because he is injured from the last game. So I'm wondering how he's going to be. If he plays a lot, or if Gibson finally gets some time. That screwed me so bad last week. I needed Gibson to get one touchdown, and I would have just been rich. But no. All right, let's get to our picks for the week. Again, we'll update the standings. Jono has somehow taken a lead from the depths of the basement again for the second year in a row.
Yeah,
he's at 21, 23, and 1. Seth and I both are at 19, 25, and 1. I'll lead off. I have Indiana plus 13.5 over Ohio State. This is really a Hail Mary. I mean, we'll see, but I really have high hopes for Indiana. I do have Kansas plus 2.5 over Colorado. I think Kansas has just been playing really good football lately. Iowa State minus 7.5 over Utah. Utah has just been bad, and ever since that Utah State game or BYU game, they just haven't done anything. Baylor,
how did I not see this Baylor line?
Yeah, dang. I don't either. I don't know. I was like, okay. Baylor minus 8 over Houston. And I have Syracuse minus 10.5 over UConn.
Yeah, I really wish I had gotten to that Baylor pick first. That's a lot.
Well, you guys basically took everything else, so.
Yeah, Seth was in there early with it, dude.
I got on earlier today, and I was like, we don't even have a spreadsheet created yet. I better get in there and put my picks on it. So I knew TJ would probably be jealous of getting this SMU pick. So I got SMU minus 9.5 against Virginia.
Great. Now they're going to lose.
Illinois straight up over Rutgers. It's a -1 spread right now. So I really don't know much about Illinois right now, but I'll take that line. Mizzou minus 7.5 versus Mississippi State. I felt like that was a really easy line to pick also. Not that Mizzou's been great, but they have a better offense than 7.5. Alabama minus 13.5 versus OU. That line could have been 25, and I still would have taken it. And Wake Forest plus 24 versus Miami. That one could be sketchy. But who knows? Miami likes to do nail-biter games and fall apart at the end. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I got Iowa minus 6.5 versus Maryland. Got James Madison minus 7 versus App State. Little switch from TJ's, but I got Colorado covering the 2.5 versus Kansas.
Prime lover.
I'm gonna go with that one. Big 12 guy here at the end. Here I got Arizona State. I'm gonna play the hot hand with Arizona State. BYU's been struggling these last couple weeks, so I'm gonna play the hot hand with Arizona State minus 3, and then I got Texas Tech at minus 3.5 versus Oklahoma State.
Like that.
It was a good pick too.
A lot of Big 12.
Last week, I remember when I curveballed and changed those 2 picks. He won both of them. That was at Florida, LSU.
I looked that up too. I went back to check that.
That's awesome.
I'm taking Ohio State. No, I'm not. I'm keeping it. I feel good about 13.5 points for Indiana.
I could see it being close for sure.
All right, let's move on to score predictions. What you got for score predictions for the week?
I'm going to go 42-10 Texas. Offense is going to be clicking. It's going to be fun. Blowout.
I got 31-7 Texas. I have a feeling this game is going to feel similar to last week. It's going to be a little slow in the first half, low scoring, and Texas is able to pull away late.
I am pulling off of this is going to be a close game, boys. We're at the end of the season. It's time to really start ramping up.
When have you been calling close games?
Hold on. Last week, the last 2 weeks, you guys even said it. I was being a little bit more conservative.
Okay.
So because you picked in the 30s.
Yeah, because I picked in the 30s, right? And I was still closer than what you clowns were. So I'm going 48-10. I think at home, senior day, I think we blow them out of the water. It's going to be just like the Florida game. So yeah, I don't think this one's going to be close. I think Kentucky is going to lay over. They'll get to hear the wrath of DKR that's starting to get really loud now. So hopefully the student section doesn't leave by the third quarter. So, but if it's 48-10, they will be gone by the third quarter, and that'll be good for me. So, you guys got anything else?
No.
I'm looking forward to getting down there, man. One last home game. I can't believe, like you said, I can't believe a blur of a season that it was, man. We were able to take advantage of a lot of home games this year. So it's been a fun season, man. As much as we've been criticizing the offense in this team, we've been praying for a long time to have a position to win 10 regular season games. So
yeah,
it's been a fun year.
I just wanted to clarify that how much you two have been criticizing the offense. I haven't been criticizing it as much. Okay, I'm seeing the glass half full. Okay, half full.
It was one 20-minute rant at a bar.
Correct.
That's all.
And we were winning.
Out.
All right, boys. Well, until then, we'll see everybody on Saturday. We'll be downtown live one more time. So until then, hook 'em.
Hook 'em.